everybody, and welcome to my Four Boys and the NL Girl podcast. My name is Patty. Hello. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks since I've done a podcast. I did do a couple vlogs in the beginning of April, but it's been a far cry from a regular podcast taping, so here I am. This is a podcast about knitting and cross-stitching and crocheting and painting and sewing and quilting and basically all the crafty goodness that I get up to. It is the 1st of May. It is May Day, so that's just wonderful. Unfortunately, it's a very big 1st of May weather here, which means it's overcast and drizzling here in Newfoundland, Labrador. As I said, I'm coming from Newfoundland and Labrador. I live in almost on the most easterly point of the country of Canada, and I live here with my 3 boys and 1 husband, thus the name 4 Boys and a Newfoundland and Labrador Girl, which I've shortened to NL. And it's, like I said, great to be back. This is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge of a podcast, but I've got a variety of things to talk to you about because it's been so long since I've taped anything. If you're a new viewer, then welcome. I'm so glad that you came to visit today. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for continuing to watch my little podcast. I really appreciate it. You may notice that my background here is a little bit different. We're doing some changes to this wall in the house. So we've put a new cabinet here at the end of the kitchen so that there's more wood, I guess, showing in the background than usual. And my lovely hanging knitting picture has been moved for now because we're going to be putting some bookshelves up here, and then I'll get a new vignette set up here for to display some art. But that's a few months in the making, so there's going to be some a bit of a metamorphosis happening behind me. But I still like podcasting from this little corner. This is my butt groove area. This is where I sit and I knit and I crochet and I cross stitch. I don't sew here. I hand sew here, but I don't do my sewing and such as either at the kitchen table or down my craft room. We also live here with 2 cats, and this is one of our cats. This is Bella. Bella's going to come and say hello. Hi, Bella. So I'm going to get right into some works in progress. I don't have a finished object to show you, mainly because I can't remember the last time I finished a knitted object. It's been quite a while. So I wanted to show you some of the things that I've been working on, despite the fact that I haven't been podcasting. I have been knitting. I have to admit I've been doing more cross-stitching than knitting. I had a series of projects that I had to make for a deadline, which I'll tell you more about in the summer, because there's kind of a surprise coming from me. But regardless, what I can tell you is that I couldn't show, unfortunately, any of the stitching I was doing because it is a secret, but that took up most of my time in April because the deadline was today, actually, though I got it in a little bit early. Or, well, not really. I got it in yesterday and over the weekend, so it wasn't that early. But that really took up the majority of my time. However, I had been doing a little bit of knitting on and this is housed in a project bag that a lovely viewer, Cindy, sent me. This is made by Cindy. Hi, Cindy. In the States, in Colorado, lovely state of Colorado. And I'm using my Smith & U, I'll get out the other ball because these are the dialogues are slightly different, so the balls of yarn are a little bit different. So I'm just going to move this. I realize I have the camera too far away. So these are the 2 balls of yarn. It's from Smith & U Yarns in Kamloops, British Columbia. It's a fingering weight sock yarn that is gorgeously soft and very well priced. If you're looking for indie dyed yarn at a really reasonable price, then get in contact with the lady there, whose name totally escapes me right now. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It is, hold on now, I'll be able to tell you her name in 1 second because this is on her base, which has her name, MARYANNE. Hi, MARYANNE. This is MARYANNE's sock base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon, and it's a superwash 4-ply or fingering weight. I will put MARYANNE's contact information on the bottom of the screen so that if you're interested in getting some yarn from her, you can. I'm knitting the Joji Locatelli's Madewell cardigan. Hopefully the camera right now is not cutting my head off. It might be, so if it is, I apologize. I'll get back there in a minute. So I wanted to show you the best. I put in a progress keeper when I started knitting on this again. So I've knit quite a bit. I'm almost ready to do the hem on this sweater and finish it off and start working on the sleeves. So I have knit from this progress keeper down. So that's quite a bit of knitting, but it's rather, I enjoy it. I don't find it boring because it's stocking stitch, but it is, you know, it's not the most exciting thing to show you on a podcast. However, that is my progress from here down to here, and I'm really, really happy about that. As you can see, this is a color, these purples and blues and such. It even matches what I'm wearing. It's, I'm going to wear this sweater to pieces when I get it done, so I'm really keen to get it finished. And I'm being fairly monogamous on this project, actually. I have not picked up any of my other works in progress except for a sock, and I'll show it to you, though there's been practically no progress on it since the last time I did a podcast. Hi, Angel. Angel's down at my feet now. So this is in this colorway from, and I'll put the information on the screen, but it's the, oh, you can tell I haven't done a podcast in forever because I can't remember where this, what the name of this mill is that sent this out. But anyway, I got it at my local yarn store. Hi, Katie. At Cast On Cast Off. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous colorway. It doesn't have a color name. And like I said, when I remember the information on that, I will give it to you. And I'm just doing this. It's a simple sock, smooth operator sock on 2.25 millimeter needles. I like using knit pick needles, wooden needles. And like I said, I have hardly any more to show you besides that. But I have been knitting on this sock as well as my Madewell cardigan. If I didn't mention it before, the Madewell cardigan is by Joji Locatelli. And the smooth operator pattern of socks that I'm knitting this on is by Susan B. Anderson. Again, I'll put all that information on the screen. So those are those two things that I've been working on. The other thing that I've been working on is our cross stitch. And I'll insert, let's see, which is the first project I'll show you. Okay. I will insert a picture here that will show you where this project was when the last time, a few weeks ago or months ago that I worked on this, what stage I was at. Alright, so this is a pattern by Country Cottage Needleworks called Forest Snowfall. This is part of a stitch along with Priscilla and Chelsea from the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. Hi Priscilla and Chelsea. Their podcast is a FLOSSTUBE podcast, mainly about cross stitch, so if you're interested, sometimes they have crocheting and quilting on there too. And so this is a stitch along. It's a really nice little poem on it. While snow is softly falling, gliding gently to the ground, our neighbors from the forest cozy up and gather round. And I'm not sure if the camera's going to focus on that, but that's the project. And I'm doing this on what's quite an open weave linen, so I hope when I hold this up you're going to be able to see. So that's my progress to date. I'm enjoying, I haven't done words on a cross stitch in ages and ages. I'll put this back a bit in case it needs to be. And they're stitching up fairly quickly, so I'm happy about that. But this is my very first time using fancy floss, or to use an over-dyed floss. Historically, I've almost always used DMC exclusively. And of course, the cross-stitching world has changed so much that there's over-dyed floss, and there's yarn, and there's silks, and there's all different kinds of things that you can stitch with. But this, I should say, I'm holding this project in my Evertote cross-stitch project bag, which comes with this cute little notion pouch. Hi Caroline and Kathy at Evertote. I just wanted to show you in case you're not familiar with fancy floss, here are so this is the blue that I'm using. It's a classic, Colorworks is the name of the company, the yarn company. Oh look, I've got bits of white all attached here. And this color is Deep Fennel. And then here are the other colors that are in the There's Little House Brown, Country Lane, and Weeping Willow. These are all classic Colorworks colors, plus white. I'm just using white to be 52 DMC white. So these are the colors for the cross stitch, and they're really pretty. Very muted, and this is one, usually with my cross stitch, I've been finishing them myself, but I think this one I will get professionally framed because it's a bigger piece, and because the linen is so open, I'm a bit concerned about how I would finish it, and where it's linen and it's very wrinkly, so I'm going to leave that for a professional to do, so I'm looking forward to that when it's finished, which could take forever. The other project I have done a little bit on is this Dimensions kit, Believe. That's the project there. I'll insert a picture here, but where I was before I started this week. Okay, and here's where I am now. Just not a whole lot further, but a little bit further. I've added in, on which side? I've added in some more purple and star and such over on this side. So I'm almost at the extreme, I'm almost at the edge of this, and then my plan is to work, it's done in 4 quadrants. So my plan is to work on this quadrant first, then this one, and then one of these two to complete the project. So I'm really happy about how that's turning out. This, again, is my first kind of full coverage. It's not as full coverage as some pieces, but it is, for me, a fairly full coverage pattern, and I'm really pleased with how it's going. It isn't entirely full coverage, I guess. It's just more of an intense project than I'm used to, so I was quite intimidated about starting that, but with your encouragement earlier in the year, I did start that, and I'm just taking one little square, one little 10 by 10 stitch square at a time, and that's working out great. So the next thing that I want to show you are, I have haul. So this 2018 was supposed to be my Bash Your Stash, de-stash, I'll put the hashtag at the bottom, that I was doing with a friend of mine here locally, and anybody else who's interested in doing so. So I have been really good about keeping my stash purchases down, but I did go to British Columbia and picked up some yarn there, which I'm not going to show today. I'll show that next week. I wanted to keep this video fairly short, and I didn't want to get too long. So I did pick up a few things in British Columbia, and I have picked up a few things cross stitch wise. But last fall, I think it was last fall or last summer, I had ordered a skein of yarn from Fleece Artists National Parks collection, and at the time let me just haul this out. Now I'm going to put the information on the screen about the nice little shop in Creston, British Columbia, where I purchased this. It's interesting because I purchased this from Creston, and my mother-in-law grew up in Creston. Well, she grew up in Erickson, which is right next to Creston. So it was really neat for me to purchase this online from a store which was so close to where my mother-in-law grew up. So anyway, this is their, let me get the weight of this yarn. Oh, sorry, it's down here. This is the Slim Merino. And I had purchased, so this is the Gross Morn colorway, and it is gorgeous. Now I'm going to knit this into a cowl for my husband, and last summer I had purchased this Gross Morn collection in the, I'm not sure what weight, might be an Aran or a worsted weight, and I plan on knitting a hat for him, so it's the same colorway, so he'll have a cowl and a hat knit out of this. And I don't consider this part cheating on my stash de-stash, my yarn using up of my current yarn base, because I had ordered it so long ago, and it wasn't the shop's fault. Fleece Artists, this collection I suspect was a lot more popular than they were anticipating, and they had some problems getting stock out. Fleece Artists did. So anyway, when it finally arrived at the shop, they were kind enough to send it out to me. I'll include a gorgeous toffee bar made in the local area, so thank you very much for that, and I'll put all the contact information on the bottom of the screen as well, so you can contact the shop if you're interested, because they have a lovely online shop, and they have some beautiful, beautiful products. So this won't be a cowl for my husband for a while, but that's what it's going to be. That's the intent. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is that my friend SS, hi SS, at Critium Handmade, had, on her Instagram feed one day, had a bag listed, and I fell in love with it. And it's a drawstring bag. I'll show you, and then she custom made one for me. And, oh, let me just get this bead out here. Just look at these gorgeous, gorgeous colors. The ribbon is a really sturdy twill-like ribbon with 2 beads. I love the beads at the end so that the knots don't come out. I can easily fit a shawl in this and a couple skeins or 3 skeins of yarn, so I just absolutely love it. SS also, I had ordered a cheater button for Kitchener, the Kitchener grafting cheater, so that I can put this on my socks to remember to do start my Kitchener stitch. And the other thing, SS, thank you very much, she also included these Made with Love gift cards that came with that you put on your projects when you're giving them away. So thank you so much for that, SS. I love it all. I'm sorry I haven't talked about it on any social media or on the podcast because I've had it for a couple weeks, but like I said, April was just too busy, and I was hardly on Instagram or anything in April. So that's why. It's not because I'm not in love with these, because I absolutely am. I can't wait to put a project in here. The other, okay, so this is totally yarn enhancement. Totally. This is of course I'm on Instagram, and I'm trying not to look at all the gorgeous skeins of yarn that are being publicized on Instagram, because I follow a lot of indie dyers, and they do such beautiful work. Anyway, Artistic Lily, hello there, had listed these skeins of yarn. I'm going to take one out and show you, but just look at that packaging. Isn't that beautiful? It's all packaged in nice plastic wrap with a ribbon. So I'm just going to take that apart now and show you, actually I don't need to take the ribbon apart to show you a skein of the yarn. So this is called Grandpa's Farm Truck. Oh, you know, this is the first time I've taken it out, and it's so soft. So this is her Gotta Have Socks fingering. It's 80/20 superwash merino on nylon. I'll put Artistic Lily's information at the bottom of the screen. Just look at those colors. I even know what I'm going to knit with this, so I'm not going to tell you right now because I can't remember the name of the pattern, but I know which pattern. I know it starts with a T. Isn't that gorgeous? So again, the colorway is Grandpa's Fire Truck, and it has smell. And it smells so good. I love it. This is my first time ordering from, look at that cute tag, from Artistic Lily, and I was really happy with the, I'm really happy with the quality of the yarn, and the service was excellent. So that is more stash enhancement, pure and simple stash enhancement that was. So I'm doing okay. Only okay with my trying not to buy things, because I did order 3 skeins of self-striping yarn the other night. Oops. So the other thing that I wanted to show you is a couple of cross-stitch purchases. This is another Country Cottage Needleworks Forest banner. So this is a series that I had ordered from Traditional Stitches, which is a cross-stitch, online cross-stitch store. Well, it's a bricks and mortar store as well, but I can only access it online in Calgary, Alberta. So this is a Welcome to the Forest. This is the first in the series of, I'm not sure if it's 9 or 12. Anyway, then I also ordered Lizzie Kate's Be Silly. I think these are considered, yeah, they're Flora McSample snippets. And the other snippet I got was so that one says, be silly, be honest, be kind. And then this one says, collect moments, not things. And I have a bread bowl that I wanted to cross stitch those 4 and put them in. So that's what I'm going to do with those. I'll make them, finish them into little pillows, and then put them in my bread bowl. The last thing I want to tell you about today is this lovely present that I received from my pen pal Victoria. Hi Victoria. So I went to the mail yesterday, and it was a great day to be receiving happy mail, because I have had an underlying headache now for about 5 or 6 days, and it's not migraine is just not feeling well, and it's very irritating. So anyway, I got a pick-me-up from Victoria yesterday. Here's the beautiful card that she sent me. This is called Water Garden, a painting by Carol Hackney from Montecito, California. And it's a Ghana-Walaska Lotus Land Garden is what the picture is of. So that's just gorgeous. But Victoria knows me well, and she sent me some tea from Montana. So there's this one is Night on Glacier Bay Herbal Tea, Crown of the Continent tea, and that has cinnamon, orange peel, raspberry leaf, lemongrass, licorice root, papaya leaf, cloves, blackberry leaf, and extracts in it. So this is from the Montana Tea and Spice Company in Missoula, Montana. And this one is the Wild Huckleberry Blended Black and Green Tea. I've already had a bag of this, a cup of this, and it was gorgeous. And this has black and green teas, cinnamon, hibiscus, rose hips, cloves, and extracts. And I love anything with rose hips in it. So Victoria, thank you so much. Victoria also sent me a mystery gift, and I'm saying it's a mystery gift because I received something from Amazon about a week and a half ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't remember ordering it. I had no memory of ordering it, and I couldn't figure out who would have sent me this. So anyway, I got in contact with Victoria yesterday saying thank you very much for the tea, and she said, well, has your mug arrived yet? And then I put two and two together. Oh, okay, so this mystery gift came from Victoria. So I'm going to insert a little vignette of the mug because it's a very special mug, and it does something very special when you pour hot water in it. So I'll insert a little video of that here. The clip at the end is of Middle Cove Beach, just down the road from us, where we had a beautiful beautiful sunny day, and when the sea, what we would call, this is called a great big sea, when the sea is up and the waves were wild, and it was an absolutely fantastic day, but almost frightening because the waves are so big. We don't get we do get huge waves here, but I'm not used to seeing them crash like they were that day, so I've stayed well away from the edge of the water. It has been wonderful to get back in contact with you, to sit and chat for a few minutes. I hope that you've enjoyed it as well. I hope to podcast again very shortly in the future, because I don't know if you folks know this or not, but for anybody who's in the cross-stitch world, the 1st of May marks a very special event, and that's called STITCHMAYNIA. And STITCHMAYNIA started, I think, in about 2015 it's a Facebook group. And what happened was that the stitching community, or a few members of the stitching community, decided that they would, and I may have this wrong, so please correct me in the comments if I have it wrong. From my understanding, that they decided they would start 15 new projects in 15 days for 2015. So this is 2018, and STITCHMAYNIA has become this huge, huge movement in May, and it's spelled Mania is spelled M-A-Y-N-I-A. And it is, so now people for this STITCHMAYNIA, everybody's making it their own now. So some people are stitching a brand new start from the beginning of May until the 18th for 2018. Some people are starting 31 days. They're doing 31 new starts in May. Some people are having a monogamous May where they're only working on one project. Other people are doing one new start per week. And so, yet some other people are starting I think they're working on one work in progress a week. So like I said, everybody's making it their own. And I thought, well, I really like this concept, but I don't think I can commit to the idea of starting a brand new cross stitch every day for 18 days or 31 days or even 5 days. Makes me really anxious. Although I'm comfortable having dozens of knitted projects on the go, I don't like having dozens of cross stitch projects on the go. I think I have 5 right now, and that's more than enough. So I thought that I would this year, instead of having a Stitch Mania, because I make something or I'm crafting or I'm doing something creative every single day, I thought I would commit to a Craft Mania 2018. So I'll put the hashtag here. I will put it on Instagram as well. And so basically, feel free to join if you want. I'm just going to take a picture or maybe a little video every single day and add it to my podcast of the craft that I do each day. So what I will try and do is stick to one craft per day. Some days, like if I'm doing a sewing project, I can guarantee I'm going to be cross stitching or knitting or something or crocheting that day as well. But by and large, I want to show you at least one thing that I'm working on a particular day for every day in May for 31 days. So this is a challenge for me to keep that up, but it's something that I thought would be a neat challenge to try. And I hope you're looking forward to seeing that, because I'm looking forward to doing it. And Angel's about, come up, Angel. Angel's looking at me like, no, I'll come up when I want to come up, because, you know, I'm a cat and I decide. The human does not decide, right? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. My contact information is at the beginning of the episode. I hope that you get in contact with me, join the group over on Ravelry. It would be fantastic. Oh, speaking of Ravelry, so I had a crafty make-along was going on for the winter. I am going to close that today, and I will have prizes announced next week and winner or 2 for next week. So stay tuned for that. As well, I'll probably be starting a spring make-along, which will be shorter. It'll probably be just May and June. And because I'm a bit late to the party on having a spring make-along, but people really seem to enjoy them, so I'll do them again. And come here, Angel. That's all I can think of for now. So if I think of anything else, I'll add it at the end. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Please.